Hey, what's happening? Welcome to Skull Session. I am Mike Hussey, and I'm with my boy Rich Tierney. Say what up, Rich.
What up?
And we are. I hope everybody enjoyed our animated version. I think we might stick with that. We liked it because we don't look as old.
I know we kind of did look old.
Yeah, but
I
it's
thought
a
I
good
looked
old. It's
older
like
in animation than
it's
I
like
do
a
in
it's like a
person.
it's like a Simpsons old. Like you don't know how old they could be. Could
Yeah, I
be
mean,
40 or 60.
I was glad I had like a cool T-shirt on, like not like a members only jacket or some
Right,
shit.
right.
It
The
looked
last
like,
member. Yeah,
yeah,
the
look
last member.
looked like
Members only. I still
fucking
see
Mister
them around
Roger.
in the city. Fucking members only. It was big in the
Parachute
80s.
pants.
Yeah, parachute pants. Or what was I talking to Elise about the other day? Elephant bells. Remember those in the
The what?
elephant bell bottoms? They were like
Oh
these
yeah,
monstrous bell bottoms. Like I mean,
that was
they're more.
70s though.
Yeah, I'm a '70s
Yeah,
guy, dude.
yeah.
I
I
graduated high
mean,
school in '77.
yeah, I know. I didn't start high school till 79. So it was tail end, but I remember that. And like dudes wore platform shoes.
Bro, my father, who was out of his mind, brought this guy home once to party in the house, and he had high heel shoes on with a goldfish in the heel.
Really?
The
A live
psychopath, yeah,
goldfish.
yeah, yeah, psycho. I don't know how long the thing was alive, but yeah, it was insane. My dad was
I'll
nuts,
tell you,
but
man, there's a lot of like fashion trends that come and go that like even now, whether you're old or young now, you kind of look and you're like, all right, that isn't a half bad. You go back to the 70s, what the fuck were people thinking?
the stripes,
There's
yeah,
polyester suits,
there's
you know, like you, so,
the leisure suits,
yeah, like even the crap in like Saturday Night Fever,
right? Exactly, with the wide
which
collars.
right, which was a cool movie.
Oh, that
Like
was a
whether you
great
like
movie.
that music or not, like you wouldn't get away with making that now.
No,
Like when they
fuck
when
no.
they made fun of the gay dudes, you could never do that in
Oh no,
a movie. And the spick, you
yeah,
know, they made the jokes and
yeah. You
racial
can't, you
jokes and
can't say
stuff.
any of that anymore. Spit,
You can
Christ,
blow somebody's head off and show like brains like splatter on the wall, but you
right?
can't
You
go
can't,
there.
you can't call him a gay dude or whatever.
Yeah, like they were making fun of those two guys. I mean, that shit that was true like New York, like Brooklyn, right? That
Oh yeah,
everything that
Guidos.
happened there happened, you know?
Guidos, yeah. Oh yeah, my
Yeah.
God. You ever see the video of I think it was after John Gotti got arrested and they're interviewing these two guys. I guess it's in Bensonhurst or Middle Village in Queens, and they go, "So what do you think about John Gotti's getting indicted for murder?" Kid goes, "What murder? He didn't do nothing,
Right.
John. Come on, innocent until proven guilty. Get away from me."
Yeah. Yeah.
I was on a job, dude. 86 and Lex. The bell ringer there, his name was Anthony, right? We became good friends. So his dad was like, his name was Jackie the Nose, the Amico, right? He was the number two under John Gotti. So it is a crazy story. So me and Anthony became great friends. We go down. I meet his dad. But when the dad used to pull up once a week, one guy would have got in the front, one guy would open the door for Jackie the Nose, and they walked inside. Who knows what went on? But I went into the bagel store once, and me and this kid Anthony were on the back of the line, and this guy Jackie the Nose walks in and walks right to the front of the bagel store. Right, so the guy in the
Yeah.
bagel store obviously knew who he was because he starts waiting on him, and this guy yells in the back. But meanwhile, Jackie the Nose's bodyguards come in. One stands next to him, one stands in the back of the store. This fucking office worker kid starts going, "Hey, hey, there's a line here, there's a line here." And the bodyguard in the back walks over and pounds the guy on top of the head once, and then like grabs him, going, "Oh, you're right." Like just like fucking knocked the guy out on the bagel line because he was saying something about Jackie the Nose. And he got indicted like a couple years later after John Gotti went down. Fucking
Well,
crazy.
they cleaned up everything. Those people were crazy, but and were knee deep in construction and all, but whether you liked it or didn't, at least things were structured. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like once they got rid of the Italian mafia and then like Russians and these
yeah.
chinos and stuff moved in, it's just out of
Well,
control.
remember who used to show up on the job? It was all those black dudes in the buses. What were they called?
The coalition.
Yeah. I was on a job in Regal Park, and same thing. This concrete guy was a huge Italian guy, and the coalition pulls up, right? This huge black dude gets out of the truck and he's like, you're not going to do any more work till you hire any guys. The guy goes, hold on a second, turns around, pulls out a 9 millimeter, puts it to the guy's head. He goes, tell your brothers to get back on the bus or your fucking head's being splattered. I mean, right on the middle in Regal Park.
Yeah.
And the guy yells, back on the bus. And they never came back again.
Well, those, I mean, like I said, it was more under control.
Right.
Like
You
now
just,
it's just for free for all. Whether you thought that like the mob policing construction was a good thing or a bad thing, like at least there was some control, right?
right,
You
right.
know,
I mean,
like even I remember I was with like Arc Electric for, apprenticeship and all, and like Charlie Rayo was all hooked up.
yeah, yeah,
He had that gun club uptown. Like that dude had been around forever.
right.
And his like VP, that guy Bill Ferrato, used to come down. I was at the stock exchange in like a limousine, and they're like, "Hey, go stand by Bill's limo," and he'd come in, and he went to jail like years back for the company, and then he was hooked up and all. Like, I mean,
Right,
they're all
right.
gone now. I
Same
mean,
when
there
they
was
work. Good.
there was rumors again, and I never read it in paper. Or maybe I did see it. I'm not looking to spread rumors, but that the guy who took over for Rayo, his grandson, Rayo had his father and his girlfriend killed. Like he was cheating on Rayo's daughter, and
Got
they
to
were like,
smoke
hey,
them.
whatever. And the next thing you know, they found him like some dump in Ohio or some shit. And I
Yeah.
think I remember seeing a news clipping from that. That guy was like a Broadway actor. Callahan was last name. And then they had a kid who wound up taking over Arc named Callahan. And then I think they sold to Adco or something,
Yeah, yeah,
or some
yeah.
shit like that. But
Same when they
yeah, I mean,
worked for Petrocelli.
yeah,
Sandy Petrocelli coming in every day with the giant cigar in his Porsche. Like,
right.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, big money, man. The
Oh my
stuff was no
God, the
joke. Concrete, you
concrete
know,
was the big one. Waste, the right way and all the demolition companies and
demolition companies. I mean, and all the people that they arrested for racketeering and stuff, and all these different trade unions.
yeah. Well, remember the guy got shot in the ass. Remember they didn't know that guy he built the
Yeah, by the
bar in the
convention
city.
center.
Right. And then they shot the head of the carpenters in the ass for wrecking the bar. He didn't know it was a
Yeah,
mob bar.
I'm not sure how much that goes on now, and it's all like unregulated, like all these different crime groups from other countries.
Yeah, well, it's
You
hard to
know,
have, the no-show jobs and all that bullshit anymore because everything's just, on the computer. And I mean, I'm sure it's done, but
yeah,
I don't,
but
I
that
don't know if
was
I don't know if the mob's what they used to be.
no, but that was the deal. Like that Saturday Night Fever was dead on, like how neighborhoods were. Like, remember even at the plant, like you still lived in the Bronx, but you talked to some of the younger guys that were there that were like Dominican or black or whatever, and talk about the Bronx. I'm like, well, yeah, I was born and lived on here. And the guy's like, no, no way, man. No white people live there. I'm like,
Right,
no, it was
right,
just poor people. It just
right,
happened to be white back then, and now
right,
it's not. Like,
right.
rich people never lived there. It just changed with the times,
I mean, my building, my neighborhood when I was a kid was very diverse. I mean, the projects were across the street, but back then, I'm not going to say it was half white, half black, but I don't, dude. I mean, my whole growing up in the neighborhood, like we were all friends. You know what I mean? All of us, all the black dudes. There weren't a lot of Spanish dudes back then, but we were just all friends. We'd fucking party together. We played ball together. We had a great time. It was never even back when
no.
there were the gangs, when the gangs became a big thing.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Well, a lot of that stuff was started, not that people aren't racist, was started by people who want to obtain and maintain power. Like,
Of
and the best
course.
way to do that is to divide and get people fighting against each other. And who better to fight is poorer people,
Right. Right.
working class. Like, all right, yeah, these black dudes are going to take your job. And it was a real thing, like back when our people came, Irish people came, there'd be like, no blacks or Irish need apply.
Right.
There was
Right.
a whole thing. So you're just pitting people against each other. Of course, they're going to hate each other,
Right. Of course.
you know.
I mean, they make it
But
that way.
yeah, but cool,
Yeah.
man. 4th of July. What you do?
Dick didn't do anything.
No, you didn't. You didn't
Nah,
even go see the fireworks.
no, we were going to, but it was chemo week, so it was just too much. And
Yeah,
then like we were thinking about going down there, but it was just you just get frightened, bro, because they tell you there was only so many places open. There's millions of people. There's tourists out the ass in New York right now, and it's just like you know what we seen fireworks 2 weeks before that at the Met game, where it was phenomenal. But the
yeah.
fireworks in New York City, did you see them? What they did,
No.
dude? They had the Brooklyn Bridge, and it looked like a waterfall of fireworks coming off the Brooklyn Bridge, like the flag. And it was. I'd never seen anything like that before in my life. It was really, I mean, we watched it on TV, which isn't the same anyway. But yeah, I was impressed. Same, who does those fireworks? What are they, Gucci? I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't
They're like the same
remember.
people every year.
Yeah. So now the big thing, man, like they had here in town, and I didn't go over to see it, but they had it around Christmas too, is these drone shows. Like,
Awesome. Those are
yeah,
awesome.
awesome. Like there's like hundreds of these drones coordinated, which makes you think like if they were looking to attack you, what the
Yeah,
fuck they could do, right? You'd be
yeah.
dead meat. Like they can program these things with a computer to like make a map of Texas and
Right, right.
blow up and shit, like like for you to look at. I didn't go see it. And then we were down in Galveston for the weekend at the beach, which was cool. And they had fireworks like on the other side of town. And when I was coming home from dinner, I hit all this traffic. You couldn't even park. People were like trying to park on the sidewalk and shit. It was like,
And then it's a nightmare of leaving there when the
oh,
half hour
forget
of
it. You're
fireworks
done.
is fucking over. Yeah.
So I just went back to where we were staying and went out on the beach and you could look out over the bay and across. I don't even know what town it would have been over there, maybe.
Right. And you just see everybody's fireworks from where you sit.
Yeah.
Because I used to go on the roof in the Bronx. We'd go up on the roof on 4th of July. And, it was like being in Vietnam. There was shit going off all over the place between Yonkers and, the fucking east side of the Bronx and everything else. Yeah. There was no, some
I
guy
mean, we're,
tried, we were up there one year and a bunch of people like went into the park across the street with, loads of fireworks. And the cops were there in 5 minutes going, what are you doing, dude? This, you can't fucking do this in the middle of a
well,
neighborhood.
in Texas, they sell the, they'll have these stands and they're selling. I mean, they're not selling like dynamite, shit like that. And
Yeah,
I
but
guess in
still.
certain places you can't light them off just because, but for the most part, nobody seems to bother you.
Some rapper, I don't know who he is, some black dude, obviously held on to the fucking firework too long and blew all his fingers off. I
Yeah.
mean, I know it happens every year, but this guy was some rapper, and yeah, I don't know what his
You
new
know,
rap name is.
that's
Five
like,
Finger.
remember even as a kid, like, when your parents never wanted you to have fireworks and like in New York and New Jersey, they'd bust your
Oh
balls
yeah,
if you
it
got
was
caught.
over.
But it'd be like, oh, if with a bottle rocket, you'll lose an eye or something. You'll be sorry. I remember in Bigman years back working, there was a guy there that lost an eye with a bottle rocket.
What was
You
his
know,
name?
John Clark.
I know
He
that
was
guy.
like
I think I know that story. Yeah,
he was a cool dude. I mean, it happened when he was younger. But like, of course, 4th of July would roll around every year, and construction jobs are. It's like eighth grade gym class, and it'd be like,
right.
you better be careful this weekend, you lose an eye. And it'd be like,
Yeah,
John, you better be extra careful, you'll lose your
you
other
only
eye.
you only got one left.
You only got one left. But
Yeah,
like, of all the people that that you run across, and saying that you never really met anybody that lost an eye.
no, no.
Never even met anybody that blew their hand off. But here you are. It did happen.
I remember my friend had gotten like I don't know how many M80s this was, and like an idiot, we're all just standing there because he's trying to blow this tree up across the street from my building. I remember what you remember the genie. Remember when you used to make a genie,
Yeah, yeah.
like, and this thing turned into like just a 10 M80 genie. Everybody was like blinded and holding their eyes, like no, he didn't blow shit up. Yeah,
I
fuck
remember
that.
being at it was with ARC, and was it 1675 Broadway? One of those buildings was going up right before 4th of July, and we're up on like the 25th floor or some shit. And some guys got like M80s with a piece of pipe and the air compressor that you blow line through, and
Oh
he's
god,
lighting them and shooting those things across, and that hotel across the way was getting built too. and these
Oh my
things are just
God.
coming out and like exploding up over Broadway. Within like fucking 15 minutes, there was like
Oh yeah, yeah,
15 police cars outside the job, and then all of a sudden everybody goes back to work. Anybody's what's going on here? We're just no, I don't know,
oh,
man, just
I
fucking
don't know.
working. You know,
Yeah,
guys get all like are guilty as shit. They get all defensive, like,
yeah.
oh, you're
What are you
busting my
talking
balls.
about,
I'm just
man?
trying to work here. You know,
Just a working man, bro.
just a working man, bro. You know,
Shooting fucking M80s across
he's
Manhattan.
across Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
forget what the old thing was. What was M80 was a quarter stick. Remember, it was cherry bombs, M80s. It was like a quarter stick of
blockbusters.
dynamite, blockbusters, fucking Roman candles.
Yeah,
Remember shooting Roman candles at each other? Bro, did you ever do the thing? We were kids. I don't know who the fuck told us. Steel wool. Steel wool can light on fire.
yeah,
So we would get a package of steel wool, put it on the end of like a hanger, and crimp it, light it on fire, and spin it like a sparkler. But
yeah.
when the fucking pieces of steel wool came off, it like burnt right through your shirt, or your hair got singed. So fucking steel wool. Yeah, poor man's fireworks.
Yeah, crazy shit, man. But that was it. We didn't watch no fireworks. Spent some time on the beach, went to eat and stuff. But with all that flooding coming down, we drove down from Dallas to Galveston, and you're
Well,
coming
you
down.
hit that rain, right?
I went through the rain was all through the center of the state because like it's probably we're probably further east, and we were further east. Hill country is. But man, the storms were bad. I probably drove over 100 miles or more in like fucking torrential downpour.
What a tragedy, man.
Yeah.
As of this morning, I think it's 105 so far.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
that area, those rivers are prone anyway because the water levels go up and down so much. And, the rain
right,
is
right.
concentrated in one area. I mean,
And they
it's,
do that, like you've seen, like through security cams or ring cams, how quick this shit rose. I mean, I've seen videos of people going, the daughter says, I think we should get out of here. Oh, the father goes, we should get out of here. And
yeah.
literally, dude, the water's just rising. And they're running down this path to get to their ATVs to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, well, people camp along that thing. You never
Right,
expecting
right,
it to come up 26 feet.
right, right.
That's like whenever you're out in the desert and like they go through, they do like safety, right? You'll see these areas where you can almost tell it was like a creek bed or a stream bed, but it's dry. And
Right.
people are like, oh, that's a great place to camp or whatever.
No.
And usually it's like rain like up in the mountains and washes down. Like even over in Egypt and like the Sinai when I was over there, half of those places are dry all the time. And it never rains like right where you're at. But you'll see these huge mountains and up there because of the change in elevation they'll get some rain, and next thing you know, you got like a
Right, right.
deluge
Because and the
coming down.
fucking it's like the water's like going over concrete. It doesn't absorb into
No,
the
no.
that thing's been dry for 10 years. It's like,
I mean, and
it's fucking horrible.
yeah, I mean, it was bad news. I mean, it happened in North Carolina. I
Yeah.
mean, up in
The
the
same
mountains, same
they
shit.
I heard this morning they had I don't know if it was the two girls from that Mystic campsite, but they found two girls, 12, 14, 40 feet up in a tree. They found them this morning. So
Right.
and then like I told you before, there's this crazy bitch. I think it's a she. She said that the fucking Mystic campers, I think his or her name was Sadie. Mystic campers deserve what they got because they were white supremacists and the parents voted for Trump. So this is what happens when I mean, what the fuck are you
Yeah, the
talking about?
kids. Nobody,
They're fucking kids, right?
nobody
Right.
asked for that. It was like a anomaly, like a crazy weather event, and it
Yeah.
sucks.
Perfect storm.
I mean, it happened in North Carolina. Nobody said shit. It happened in New York years back when I was still living there, up in
Yeah.
Sullivan County or whatever. They had to release water out of the reservoir too. I forget, Papacon or one of those, and it flowed into the Never. It must have been the Never Sink. I might have it all wrong, but I mean that shit was so bad it washed out bridges, moved like major league boulders. Swept houses away. You know,
Well, and it's funny you see people, saying, "Well, just why don't you just ride the
away.
fucking
You seen
dude? You
that
get hit by
water?
a fucking car or a fucking
Well,
tree
even
or whatever."
even that dude, the rescue swimmer from the Coast Guard, that
Yeah.
Ruskin,
Yeah, he saved 165 people, that kid?
who's like trained to go into like any kind of current and stuff, was like, yeah, it was pretty hairy. Like,
Yeah.
you're
He
not
did a
just jumping into that. There's all like logs and shit that'll hit you.
and the rate of it, the speed of that water was,
Right.
you get hit with a fucking, everything, washing machine, any fucking thing is coming
Cars,
down. Right.
you pick up
RVs.
just whole houses, got lifted up and pushed down with the water.
Yeah, there was supposed to be some stage, or there was a whole stage built under this bridge, and they found the stage 2 miles downstream, down whatever, I guess downstream. The stage was there because it was just fucking metal, but the whole like tenting and everything was 20 feet up in the air in a tree.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would just fucking, yeah, just a tragedy. Another
Yeah.
tragedy is this fucking jerk off running for mayor in New
I'm
York,
glad I don't live there.
Mondani. Oh my god, dude.
Imagine a city running grocery stores.
Yeah, that would never work.
Yeah.
He's a socialist. He's an anti-Semite. He fucking hates anybody. The guy's never had a job in his fucking life.
Right.
But let me run the city. But I'm
Yeah.
so glad, like now that, not that I watch regular TV, 247, whatever, but um, there's a bunch of commercials out against this guy now. Thank God. So people are finally seeing that
Well, you
he's a
still got
jerk
the
off.
whole, I mean, it was the primary, and like Cuomo was a shithead. I think even people who are aligned with like that, if you were a Democrat, were down on Cuomo, after
Right,
all those
right, right,
years of just milking the system and screwing
right, right,
everybody. And
right.
then COVID, well, when what went down during COVID in New York,
And he had a lot of sexual shit too, right?
yeah,
Didn't he get?
he
Yeah,
was a creep.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Who's the better? What's the better of two evils?
and it makes me laugh because I mean, I don't. It isn't really laughable, but like these guys never just disappear, right? Because there's always a dollar to be made off of running for an office.
Right.
With
People, yeah, people
campaign
throw their money in. Right.
contributions and taking, like you were governor of the state, now you're going to run to be mayor of the city. Like
Yeah.
go, you're already in your 60s. Go do something else, bro.
Yeah. Go fucking fishing or something.
Yeah, or I think he was an attorney or something. Go milk something else. Like you just
Right.
never go away.
Go
You know?
help the homeless or some shit.
Yeah. These people just never leave. It's the thing that would not leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, you still got what's his name, the mayor now,
Oh, Eric Adams.
Eric Adams.
Yeah, he's a fucking
Curtis
knucklehead too.
Lewa is still in the
Curtis
thing.
Lewa.
Yeah, and Cuomo's
Dude,
not
you want to hear a Curtis? I got a Curtis Lewa story. He was the manager of the Mickey D's in my neighborhood.
Oh
Curtis
yeah.
Lewa. And my cousin Danny worked there, and I think we had a keg, or we were going somewhere to get fucked up. We went to I went to the Mickey D's, and Danny was working, and we said, "Yo, come on, come with us. We're just going to get." And I think Danny quit right there and just left with us. Yeah, next thing you know, Slee was once he's fucking slinging hamburgers one time, and then all of a sudden he's headed us. Do you remember them on the subway, the
Yeah.
Guardian Angels? I
Yeah.
do.
I mean, the city back then was a freaking
Oh, it
combat
was a
zone, man.
disaster, dude. Remember the subways
Disaster.
with all the fucking graffiti and
70s into the 80s, Yeah. I mean, all the neighborhoods were like burnt out and run down, especially in the
yeah,
70s.
South Bronx was
South
fucked.
Bronx, graffiti all over everything. Nobody, well, remember, I mean, nobody, if you went there now, you wouldn't even realize like Times Square, what that was
Oh
like
yeah,
back then. It was all porno shops,
right.
prostitutes,
That was it.
drug dealers.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. We used to go to this one store and buy 45 because we went to this old Irish bar once that we found, and the jukebox sucked, and we said to the guy, "Can we change the guy goes, "You could do whatever you want." So we went and bought, Thin Lizzy and Sabbath and everything
Right.
on 45. We could only find them on 42nd Street, so we went and bought a bunch of them and fucking changed the jukebox at the Irish fucking bar.
Yeah. I mean, in the bus terminal, how that was back then,
Oh, the Port
the port
Authority,
atrocity.
dude. I remember when I was a first year apprentice. That was my first job, the Port Authority.
God.
So I was working at night once, and the cops, the Port Authority cops, would go into the fucking uh like the bathroom, because all these homeless dudes are sleeping in the toilets, and sprayed him in the face with some shit. So I remember asking the cop what it was. He said it was ammonia. He fucking,
Well, you
he goes, you
this
spray it with water, they fucking clean their face. You sprayed it with ammonia, at least it burns their eyes and they run out the fucking.
well, the bus terminal was like fully operational. I'm talking like in the 70s. I didn't start work then, but say the 80s,
Yeah,
right?
this was 81 when I was
Yeah,
there.
and it coming
80, 80.
into the city, used to take the bus, but you're dressed for a construction job, right? You got jeans on, work boots, and
Right,
there was women coming in on that freaking bus or the buses, and the stairwells hardly had any light in them. There'd be like human shit all over the stairs
right,
from
right.
these
No, it's a
homeless
fucking
people.
nightmare.
I mean, the bathrooms were like people getting it on in there. You know,
Or the shopping bag. Remember the
yeah,
fucking
like
the gay
crazy
dudes would
shit.
stand in the shopping bag and the other guy would fucking blow him. It's like,
Right.
what the
Well,
fuck?
and that one bar on the second floor, the Briefcase Pub,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it didn't have
I've
a
been in a
bathroom in
briefcase.
there. So if you
Right. So you
had a
had to go
couple
use the
beers, you
fucking
had to walk out
public
to use
bathroom.
the public restroom in the Port Atrocity.
Yeah.
Oh, the place was the worst. It
They're
didn't
doing
get
it over again now. They're doing the whole fucking
yeah,
thing
and they're
over again.
extending it. I heard, but none of that shit got cleaned up till Giuliani got in.
Right,
I
right.
remember last year, MIJ year was doing a job right in one of those garment center buildings, like 2 blocks south of the Port Atrocity. And Charlie Lucania, rest in peace, died on 9/11. He was with me. It was just him and I. I was with Bigman at the time, and I had been there a while, and he got sent there by the union, and we were working together, and he needed to get to his M time. So I'm like, whatever, man, we got it made. But you're hustling, like putting up
Right,
all
right.
this pipe and emergency lights. Nobody wanted to do shit in this building, but they were forced to by the code. So here we are, like coming in there. So we cleaned up there was one of the floors that was vacant. It was all these garments in it, like they locked these freaking people in like sweatshops and didn't want them to leave.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, of
and
course.
all these homeless
Good
people just
old days.
came in and were all over the place. So in the morning time, if you came in, they'd still be sleeping in the stairwells and we took one little area. It wasn't little, but part of we cleaned up and cleaned the bathroom. And he used to take like his pliers home every night. So when he came in, he had something with him. And
Like a weapon.
yeah, and then he's like, you wouldn't believe the shit this morning. I walked up the 2 flights of stairs and there's a homeless guy and a homeless girl like naked, like getting it on in the stairwell on like cardboard. It's like some not a survivor, like naked and afraid. Oh, it was horrible, man. And they
Oh my
tell
God.
you know, Steve Bigman be like, how do we make out today? I don't know. We got a floor done or whatever. Don't hold yourself to the floor. If you can get more done, get more done. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. I want
You're
to
lucky.
do this, and this, and then just get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Be out of here by one. Be on the 1:30.
1:30, right after doing like a day's work in like half a day, just because it's so
Work through lunch.
everything was covered with dirt and dust and
Oh
shit. And you
yeah, those
drill into the
places are
walls and it's
fucking.
just falling apart. And then you go by and there's the doors are open, but then they'd have these gates, like cage gates, and they're locked. And you see people at like sewing machines, like
Yeah,
sewing
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
With the guy, it was like guy cracking the whip behind him. You're
Right.
too slow.
But now all
I
that,
watched this whole. God,
no, now
sorry,
all,
dude.
I mean, you live there. All that crap's changed for years. Like all these tourist things in there, you know.
Oh yeah, Times Square isn't anything what it used to be. I watched a documentary. Remember that company, American Apparel?
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy tried to. I mean, they always had like the racy ads and all that shit, but it was just greed, bro. The guy was doing so great. He made $300 million, like in the first couple of years. But then, he decided to open. Oh, the recession hit. That's right. But he didn't listen to his financial advisors. They said, listen, just keep what you have. Don't do anything else. And it was just, he used to, sometimes he would come out of his office in his underwear.
Yeah.
And back then, nobody had cell phones and shit. And then all of a sudden, yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. They did have cell phones. And then all of a sudden, he would invite like 10 people over to his apartment. and come out, with his fucking towel wrapped around him, going, "Oh, I'm sorry, is my fucking junk showing?" You know what I mean?
Right.
And he got what fucking. But he was trying to do it. I remember he was trying to do it with all, just saying he was paying people above board and blah blah blah, not sweatshop wages, but everybody was illegal immigrants. So yeah, just American Apparel. That was my take on that fucking documentary.
No, that shit was crazy. But yeah, dude. But that was it, man. One weekend going by, everybody's on vacation now. It's that time of year. I know you're
Yeah,
retired, so that doesn't really matter. But
my nephew's in Spain right now, loving life, live on the beach.
nice.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was just in London for 5 days, I think. Now he's in Spain for 6 days with his boys.
Cool.
Good times.
Cool.
Yeah.
What
Oh yeah. That's about it. We're fucked now. We got nothing else to talk about.
well, I mean, you don't want to not like the news just keep talking about the flooding. Like it's horrible and like, it's upsetting and all that, but I don't really agree like bringing on like these people's family who lost like these little girls so keep putting the names and stuff up. Like that doesn't do anything
Or
except
peoples whose daughters were saved. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And then I don't know. It's just you don't know what's right and what's wrong. I mean, if you're debilitating with grief, and then this fucking guy sticks a microphone in your face and says, "Well, how do you feel about
Yeah, and it's all these
losing two of your daughters?" I mean, what the fuck are you talking? How
these
do you think I feel?
news outlets looking to get ratings, because you got people
Right,
that
right,
just
exactly.
fixate on the news and sit there all day watching.
And nothing. I mean, there's nothing left in that place. I
No.
mean, they showed a before picture. I think there was 37 RVs. How you're an RV guy, and gone, dude, fucking gone. Oh, the only thing that was there was the concrete pads with the waste pipes sticking out. Yeah,
Yeah, well, it
but
doesn't
you
take
see the
much.
house, dude? You see those people in their houses? Did you
Yeah.
see that video with in the house with the flashlight? The thing's gone. I mean, they gotta be dead.
Well, there was that one apartment complex in Georgetown, like it butted up to the river, and it was for I guess it was elevated up top, so that didn't get covered water, but all down below, the river was all the way up. Like,
Is that the one where they were on their deck and the guy said the Guadalupe River is usually 30 feet under this deck, and it was right at deck level now.
yeah, maybe.
Is what the fuck are you still doing there? What do you see?
Well, that's
You're
like the
looking out your
people that
window.
film down here, especially like there's tornadoes and there's a guy with his
Oh
phone
no,
and
it's
the
the
thing's coming
fucking
like right at you. Like, I don't know
dude.
what
Yeah,
you're
but you
gonna do.
gotta watch. There's a fucking documentary on Netflix about these, like three young guys. I think it was three young guys and a young girl out just partying, having a great time, and they fucking run into a tornado. The kid got sucked out the window. One of his friends got killed. This kid got sucked out the window, went up in the fucking air, found him, whatever, 5 miles away. I mean, he broke every bone in his body, but he lived. He was like one of the few that ever went up into the street. There's another video of remember those two drunk dudes in Texas with the fucking football helmets on?
Yeah, yeah.
Gone.
Well, I just seen some the other day, and I don't remember when it happened because it was in the 70s, but I remember seeing it in the past, and it was a flight, and in 71, I want to say, and lightning hit it, and it broke apart over the Amazon, and this girl, the one
Yes,
girl
she
that
lived.
survived, lived. She
Fell 10
fell 10,000 feet in the
and
airline
landed in
chair,
the
landed
Amazon.
in the Amazon, and then followed a creek and found their way out. She found
Didn't even break a bone.
some lumber camp somewhere, and then they
Yeah.
helped her to
They said
escape.
the only thing that saved her is that she stayed seatbelted in her seat. And when she went through the canopy of the Amazon, it slowed her down from the fucking 200 miles or whatever she was
Yeah,
shooting down.
terminal velocity, right?
Right, right. Or the other guy that lived, where'd that plane just crash? Like in India, that
India.
took off and like went like fucking 50
Yeah,
yards
the
and
guy just
landed on
rolls
top of a
out
building.
onto the wing like, "Hey, where
Yeah,
is
jumped out
everybody?"
of it. Hey, what's going on? Can
Yeah.
I get some peanuts? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I had seen that. like heading, woman survives 10,000-foot fall. I'm going, this has to be bullshit. But they interviewed the woman.
There was a guy, and I should be able to remember his name, but he was a lather, years back, and was in the Korean War paratrooper, and then like with the Army parachute team, had like a malfunction, burned in from like, 5,000 feet, landed in a cornfield, broke all these bones and shit, and then like had a, worked as a lather, like, lived, you
Right,
know,
right.
I mean,
Insane.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I guess you just never know, when it's your
yeah,
time, it's your
yeah.
time, right?
Right. It was your time.
Yeah.
Imagine, imagine if the plane breaks in half and now you're sailing towards the
Well,
fucking Amazon in your seat.
I remember back in New York, it was like the spring or maybe the fall. I don't remember. It was cooler out, so I had the windows open in the house. And you remember the road we lived on was pretty country. And it
Right,
must be like in the middle of the morning, 2, 3 in the morning, I hear this huge crash. No like brakes or nothing. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like I look out the window from our bedroom and I can see like brake lights. Looks like it's like in my front yard, down by where the pond
right.
was. So I get on the ATV and I drive down
Oh, they
there.
landed on your property?
The guy was what I'm like, I see a car now on my property, flipped over on the hood and the whole front of it smashed in. And there's brake lights. So I didn't have a flashlight. I'm shining the lights from the ATV. I don't see anybody in it. I'm like, where is this guy? Like, did he get ejected? Next thing I look up on the road, there's like, the guy's like, hey, dude, I think I'm going to need some help. Like, the dude was drunk as shit, fell asleep. You know how the road curved there? And he
Right.
went off the road, hit this telephone pole. Because what happened was when the car crashed, the transformer blew on the pole, you know, and it like split the car in two. It rolled over on the hood and everything, and the guy walked away from it.
God take care of drunks and fools, dude.
I was just like, and right after that, not too long after, the police showed up, like almost right away, and they were like, "Yeah, buddy, come with
It
me."
wasn't me. It
It's
wasn't
whose
me.
car is that? It's there.
I'm
You
gonna keep
go.
walking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
But if that was how long ago was that?
no, that guy got arrested. That was probably back in the 2000s.
Oh yeah, no, he's done. If it was the '70s, he would have just
No, he would have been fine, but no,
take the plates off your car and say it was stolen.
no, I mean, they had to get the thing off my property. It was all like wet down there by the pond, and then left all this like bumper and all this stuff. I'm like, well, somebody needs to come back and clean this shit up. Like, I think the towing
Did that?
company came
No.
back. Yeah, they came
Oh, they
back.
did.
Yeah.
Probably part of the investigation.
But that was like the third time that telephone pole got hit because it went from one side of the road to the other. They finally moved it to the other side of the road. Like if you came around the turn, it's impossible for you to hit
Right.
just
Yeah.
because they didn't
Well,
want to deal with it anymore.
not really.
Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah, you could, but nobody did. But anyway, dude, that's it. So get through this week. I mean, I got a lot of stuff going on
Got a lot of stuff
coming up,
going on.
but
Oh, I just
what
seen too.
to
I want to tell you, if anybody uh was looking for a movie to see, go see
yeah.
F1 in IMAX with Brad Pitt. Phenomenal,
Okay.
phenomenal movie.
Cool.
I mean, I go to a lot of movies, and that one was just that's the Skull Session movie recommendation of the month.
Nice. Or if one of our multitude of listeners has any old school New York City Times Square stories, just drop them in the comments on the podcast
Yeah,
because that's if most people didn't go in the city back then just because we're a lot older, but there's some classic stories, especially all the poor bastards like us that had to go there and work every day and
I
commute
remember,
into
dude. I
there.
remember not mentioning names. Somebody went there to buy. I mean, this had to be '78 to buy mescaline back when mescaline was awesome. And so
Make mescaline
when we
great
got back,
again.
yeah, when he came back to the neighborhood and he put one in his mouth, it was just food coloring.
Yeah.
So his fucking mouth was purple because that was like in mescaline world, purple microdot was the one you always wanted to look for.
There you go.
He got purple food.
For food coloring. Yeah.
Yeah,
Smurf. Smurf water.
Smurf, yeah.
Remember that was like the
I'm
whole
not.
thing on construction jobs, those stupid porta johns. Like that became a thing. It's like, yeah, I went and dropped a big dump and my ass got covered with Smurf water.
Smurf water. Those things were fucking nasty, bro. Right about now in July when it's 100 degrees out and the fucking shit is stirring for a couple days and
It's
it's just
disgusting.
fucking
Nobody has
horrific.
any clue. Yeah.
Right. No.
But anyway,
All
got a
right, that
bunch of
does it.
good stuff going on coming up.
Yeah, you do. You got a lot going on. That's
I
good.
do, but we're gonna do like whole separate episodes on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sitka. Still talking about Sitka, which is
I'm
is
going
a
to yeah,
good
I'm going
thing.
to Yankee game tomorrow night.
Oh,
That's
even
another
better.
good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just getting caught back up here. But yeah, we got that. I got these guests lined up, but like you and I had talked, we needed to just get back into the groove and do our own thing. So once I finish this weekend, probably not next episode, the one after that, we'll get somebody on, you know.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm down.
So with that,
All
my
right,
friends,
to all of our 9 listeners, which are our
all of our
family and
9 listeners,
friends.
and which is probably because of us, but whatever, we're gonna work on
Well,
it because we
whatever.
just
Who
like
gives a fuck?
bullshitting. But
Right.
to all of our 9 listeners, no sponsors, and
Hey,
hopefully some people that had to go work in Times Square that are going to comment. What are we going to say, Mike?
we're gonna say later.
Later, skulls.